Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another very fun week of the Self-Love Club. I am your host, Mary, and I'm thrilled to be here. We are talking about so many things this month. We're talking about habits, which, to be honest, is extremely broad because habits, as we know, can be good. Sometimes they can be bad. Sometimes we know how to harness them for our better use, and sometimes they kind of happen without our intention, and then we realize we have formed a habit, and it can even be neutral. So we really want to talk about the importance of habits. So I know I'm diving right in because I feel like I've been maybe talking longer than I should be because I can easily ramble on forever. So I want to kind of just cover the whole concept of habits as this monthly intention because there's so many good things that can come from it. I know I mentioned on our intro to habits, if you listen to that, you can just go back to the previous episode, previous video on YouTube, and the previous blog post on the blog and read a little bit about just what we're going to cover and how we're going to look at habits this month, because realistically, our habits have so much power to inform our daily lives, to help us with personal growth, to help us achieve things that maybe we feel like are out of our reach because we don't know how to reach them and get there by doing it on our own or realistically setting ourselves up for success. So this is where our habits really come in and empower us, or they could also hinder us, which we're really going to lean on the empowering this month and not the hindering, but we will talk about both. But they empower us to, explore cultivating healthy habits. They empower us to understand what's right for us. These habits empower us to really know who we are and what we need in order to succeed. And that's such a big thing. Again, going back to our previous month about speaking up is knowing your inner voice, knowing what is true to you, what is really for you, what is something you want to be achieving and pursuing in your life. And that's what habits can really benefit and help you with. So we're going to talk about a few different areas of habits because let's be honest, our habits can help us in different parts of our life, but we want to really focus on our mind, our body, and our soul. I look at habits in these three areas because they are like a Venn diagram. They definitely overlap. They can support one another. And when they're all in a great place, it's very harmonious for our lives, our mental health, and just our overall well-being. So when you're nurturing your mind, you're obviously using a very powerful tool. We have talked about this so many times. I'm going to basically talk about a lot of things over and over because I think there's so much power in repetition, just like there's power in habits. But using our minds helps us, obviously shape our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions. And so by adopting positive habits, yes, believe it or not, there are positive habits, we can strengthen our mental fortitude and enhance our cognitive abilities. This is something that's really big for me. So a little personal antidote, a little story here. When I was 16. Yeah, I was 16. I had a really bad concussion that resulted in post-concussion syndrome. And I think the biggest thing about that is I lost my cognitive skills for almost 8 months. So reading and writing were almost not possible. Speaking, thankfully, I still was able to speak, but I would put random words into sentences that I had no idea where this word came from because of my cognitive skills. And I had to really harness my positive thoughts and my mental strength in order to recover from my post-concussion syndrome. And this took honestly years. And believe it or not, I did do a TED Talk on this. So you can actually watch my TED Talk on YouTube. I'll make sure I link it in the show notes. But it really talks about using your mind to change your future, which I think actually was the title of my TED Talk. The power of the mind, we totally underlook what it can do, and we don't realize that we're never really using enough of our mind, and we're not nurturing our mindset in order to have a more positive outlook and impact on our day-to-day lives. So I'm sure you've heard of this term, mindfulness and mindfulness practices. These are things that can really help nurture your mind. So things like meditation or journaling, they can help foster a sense of calm and promoting self-awareness and emotional well-being. Additionally, cultivating habits that lead to continuous learning expands our knowledge, obviously, but also broadens our perspective and encourages personal growth, unlocking our full potential. This is something that I think is very easy to get a bit relaxed in as we age is our full potential. When we're teenagers and we have to decide what we want our entire future to look like, I still don't know why we're supposed to do that at age like 16, 17, and 18. But when we're that age, we are looking at our full potential, all the things that we can do, all the things we want to do. We're dreaming big. We haven't set, boundaries on our dreams and our passions. And as we age and we become adults, we start to limit ourselves and we start to allow our mind to tell us that that's not really possible, or that's not realistic. Maybe that's not for now. I'll have to revisit that for later. And then we stop pursuing our full potential. And so by nurturing our mind and really focusing on our mind, we're going to unlock that ability to look at our full potential again and not be afraid of going after it, which I think is something that there's so much beauty in children that have that desire and that passion to be anything they want when they grow up. And life can hit us pretty hard. I know we've been there, all of us, probably more than one time, that it's easy to just say, you know what, that's just not for me and that's not realistic. But this month with habits, we're going to focus on unlocking that potential again and really just allowing ourselves to dream big and nurture our mind to let it continue to grow and blossom the way that it probably did when we were children. So another area of habits, like I said, is our body, and it's honoring our body. I know this is, again, something I've dealt with on a personal level, especially after my concussion, as I felt very separate from my body. Like my mind and my body felt like two contradicting aspects of myself. Like they never really felt connected. And this is something I still struggle with a lot. And I've been dealing with a lot of chronic pain recently. And when I find that I'm in a pain flare up, that's immediately where my body and my mind go. They become opposing forces. And I stop trusting in my body and stop giving it the, I would say, love and respect that I know it needs and deserves, because I feel like it's letting me down. And so we don't want to do that. You don't want to do what I've been doing. And that's why habits this month is also so important for me, because I'm trying to change some of my bad habits here. But obviously, when we are able to take care of our body, we realize that the nourishment and the movement and all these different things for our body is what helps us thrive as individuals. Establishing healthy habits that are related to nutrition or fitness and self-care is essential for maintaining optimal physical well-being. Doesn't that sound like a commercial? Optimal physical well-being. It sounds very adsy to me, but to be honest, when I wrote that out, I was like, that also sounds like really empowering. I love the idea of optimal, physical, and well-being. Those are all three, I guess they're technically three words that just carry a lot of strength and weight to them that really aligned with me. So I really want us to be able to focus on honoring our body in order to achieve our optimal physical well-being. So prioritizing a balanced diet, obviously that's very different for everyone and very independent for you to decide. And I think that's something that, unfortunately, with social media, we are told far too many times of what I eat in a day, and this is what you should eat too, or you should be fasting. I think we really need to start to tune out all those different voices and really harness what we are focusing on for our bodies. So whatever your balanced diet looks like and feels good for you should obviously include rich whole foods. Eating from the earth is just plain important at the end of the day, but also making sure that what we're putting into our body is fueling our body. It's boosting our immune system, and obviously it provides energy that we need to tackle everything that life throws at us, because there's always a lot. And if we don't have energy, it's really hard to handle everything that's coming our way. Another thing that I have struggled with, and I'm currently kind of in between, is the regular fitness. And by fitness, I mean just like movement, just moving your body, whether that's stretching, going for a walk, making sure that you are feeling connected to your body. And this is one thing that I've realized: when I feel disconnected, it's usually when I'm not moving my body enough. So being able to move your body, whether that's through yoga or strength training or just plain going for a 20-minute walk each day, it not only keeps us physically fit, but it also releases endorphins, which is elevating our mood and promoting a positive body image. And as a woman in 2023, I can tell you every day is a struggle when it comes to body image. It is highs and lows, because We are told so much, and I can only speak from my personal experience, but I know that a lot of men feel this as well. A lot of people in general are just feeling, more pressure than before in terms of body image. And I think when you feel connected to your body, and again, back to my personal experience, when I feel like my mind and my body are really connected and I'm honoring my body, my, struggles with body image and my just insecurities around my body start to dissipate and I don't even realize it. So that again is a big impact of what habits can do for us when it comes to our body. And last and truly one of the most important things about honoring your body is your sleep. This is something that I swear by. A good night's sleep makes for a great day, and a bad night's sleep makes for a really, really hard, long, oftentimes painful day. So being able to understand what your sleep is, what your sleep habits should look like, sleep hygiene, which is another conversation. These are all different things that we can talk about when we dive a little bit deeper each week into the habits. But having a good sleep helps aid in recovery and enhancing overall vitality, which, let's be honest, we want to be feeling our best. We want to be optimal. We want to be looking, feeling, and just feeling good about ourselves. And sleep is just so important to that. So when it comes to the soul, we really want to think about nourishing our soul. What are we doing that is really giving our soul what we need and filling us up? The soul is really the essence of who we are. It encompasses our emotions and our spirituality and our connection to the world around us. So cultivating habits that nourish the soul is crucial for finding inner peace, fulfillment, and purpose. I know this is something a lot of people struggle with, is purpose in life. And unfortunately, a lot of us identify our purpose with our career, which really can end up feeling pretty shallow, or actually not shallow. I'd say it would feel more hollow than anything when we put all of our value and our purpose into a career that, as we've seen over the past couple of years, can easily change or get taken away. We start to wonder why we're actually here and what we're able to do for the world and for our relationships. So we want to be able to engage in activities that bring us joy and allow us to express our creativity. Some of these things can be painting, writing, or playing music. This connects us to our deepest desires and our emotions. I know I'm repeating, but last month we talked about our ability to speak up and our inner voice. And our inner voice always has our deepest desires. So if we did a little bit of work and we did our reflections from last month, we can probably hear our inner voice a bit more. Therefore, we know what our deepest desires are. And that in turn will allow us to nourish our soul even more through different habits that align with that. So for me, this is about carving out time for self-reflection, introspection, which I think is something that as I've aged and become more of a grown woman, I definitely see the importance of introspection, as well as practicing gratitude. And that has really been huge for me, as well as just being able to slow down and look at life instead of getting caught up in this like negative wheel of what's not working or what's not going right, but really focus on the things I'm grateful for. The people and the experiences really changes my entire perspective on life. And this really allows us to cultivate a sense of inner peace, fostering a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Connecting with nature is also another really big one for the soul. There's a lot of science behind that one as well. But spending time with loved ones and engaging in acts of kindness also nurture our souls, promoting a sense of interconnectedness and compassion. I have talked about this many times, but I think the world just needs a bit more compassion and a bit more empathy. So by nurturing our soul, the goal is that we are going to be bringing more of that to our personal day-to-day lives, our world, and the people we're around, causing that ripple effect that I've talked about before, but also just giving us a more sense of purpose in a community aspect, whether you're a part of a huge community or something that's just a little bit smaller and it's your direct family. Any of that truly matters when you're able to bring compassion and empathy into different situations and relationships. So as we navigate life, it's easy to feel like we are just moving through day to day, getting the tasks done, checking things off, waking up, running through our to-do list, eating kind of properly, sometimes not so properly, basically just eating because our body is saying, hey, I'm hungry, feed me, and we're just putting in whatever is easiest. And then suddenly we're crashing and falling asleep and doing it again. And this is something that I can definitely attest to. The past, I would say 2 months of my life have been abnormally busy in many different ways, but I've been much busier than normal. And in some ways, I enjoy it because I've been doing a lot of things I really love and give me joy. But I also know that the pendulum has swung a little bit too far in terms of being busy and not being able to identify what my body and my mind and my soul are looking for and needing in order to feel nourished. So that's something that I'm really focusing in on. And again, why our intention this month is habits, is so that I can really focus on healthy habits, which is what we're trying to do here. And these habits obviously are about transformation, not like going from one person to another, but it goes back to that, like when you start as a caterpillar and you go into that little cocoon and you come out as a butterfly. Habits have the ability to help you get to that butterfly phase of life. And that can look different and it can change from season to season. But that's the power of habits. And they allow us to live a purposeful and balanced and fulfilling life, enabling us to navigate challenges with resilience and embrace the beauty that surrounds us. Embracing the power of habits. So we need to be willing to embrace habits before we completely dive into them. Because if you don't trust the process, it's not going to work, believe it or not. So we do need to embrace the power of habits, trust the process, and witness the profound impact that they can have on our mind, our body, and our soul. And habits are really a beginning sort of block and a foundation for a longer journey, because it's something that we can always fall back on when we feel like we get out of step or we're out of sync. Like I was saying with my separation of my mind and my body. I've been very connected mentally with my mind and my body before. I've also been very disconnected. So I know there's some habits that I'm going to fall back on and look towards as helping me achieve that connection again and supporting myself in feeling more connected to who I am and really just nurturing my body and making sure that I'm honoring it and respecting and loving it the way that I need to. So these are all things that, trust me, we are doing together. I am definitely doing them all myself. So each week we're going to talk about one aspect a little bit more. So we'll start with our mind and then move into our body. And I think we're going to end with our soul, because I think there's just so many different aspects that, like I said, they are a Venn diagram, they overlap, and they really align, and there's purpose in all of them. But I think it's great to spend a bit of time on each area to just understand what we each need. And again, everything that I say in here is very personal to me and subjective to my life. I don't know you personally, though I would love to, but I don't know your life personally, what you need, and just take what I'm sharing as, tips of advice and guidance, but not necessarily the one and only way to do things. And I know I've mentioned this before, but we do have our voicemail page now where you can leave me voice notes for questions, ideas, just sharing anything related to the Self-Love Club. Again, I want this to feel more conversational. It really is about all of us coming together. So don't be shy. You don't have to leave your name. I won't, reveal my sources. I will keep them hidden if that's, what you would like. So just feel free to leave a message. Follow me on Instagram. Everything is located in the show notes, so you'll know exactly where to go to get all the good stuff. And I hope you have an amazing day, and remember to love yourself first.